What you ideally want to do in any kind of bull market move is push your investment funds, your capital, your NAV, towards the stocks and shares or cryptocurrencies that are going to make the greater percentage gains. We're setting a bit of a historic precedent here.
Was it really that event that caused the rally to go up?
The economy is going to start suffering pain.
That's going to be bonkers. Welcome everybody to Talking Trades. You have Kevin Wadsworth and myself, Patrick Karim. And today, Kevin will show you some critical chart techniques on how to spot outperformers, right? Instruments could be going up, but which one you take? Which of two instruments that are going up should you take? Is there a way to find out which one you should take? Well, of course, with technical analysis, we could answer that question. And I'll give it to you, Kevin. Go ahead and show us.
Okay, sure, Patrick. Yeah, it's a question I think that a lot of traders and investors might sort of struggle with. And of course, if we're looking at, say, for example, cryptocurrencies, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies out there, and during a bull market, they're quite possibly all going up at the same time. Now, clearly, you can't invest in all of them. So what do you do? How do you sort of pick which cryptocurrencies or which stocks to invest in? You could have the same issue with precious metals, of course, with gold and silver going up. And when eventually the miners start to go up as well, then you have the same question: which mining company do I invest in? Well, I can give you some tips and advice on that, my own personal views and opinions, and of course the technical analysis is really important to that as well. So we're going to dive in with an example using Bitcoin, actually. Now, of course, there's an advantage to Bitcoin. The advantage, I suppose, is that it's the biggest of the lot. It's the big boy in the cryptocurrency market, if I'm allowed to call Bitcoin a cryptocurrency. I don't want to offend anyone, of course, but we have Bitcoin and we have the rest of the cryptocurrency market, I guess. And one of the big advantages with Bitcoin, of course, is that it's very liquid. When the price is moving up or down, you can get in and you can get out very close to the current market price. That is often not the case with a lot of the smaller altcoins, and that's the same principle sort of applies to stocks and shares as well. So if you're buying precious metals miners and the price suddenly starts plunging across the sector, it is much easier to exit at the price that you want to, of course, with a very liquid stock than one that is illiquid. And what I mean by that is one that has a very large market cap. Market cap of Bitcoin is very big compared to some of the meme coins, of course, and trying to get out of those meme coins during a harsh sell-off can be problematic. Okay, all of that said, I want to just focus here on spotting outperformers. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that what you ideally want to do in any kind of bull market move is push your investment funds, your capital, your NAV, towards the stocks and shares or cryptocurrencies that are going to make the greater percentage gains. Okay, and how do we do that? Well, let's start with Bitcoin, and we can spot quite easily these big bullish breakouts that Bitcoin has. There's a sort of a series of breakouts that happen, and the sort of final one in each bull market is when we break above the previous cycle high. You can see in each Bitcoin cycle, we break out above the previous cycle high, and then you go into the final phase of the bull market. And you can see that happened back in 2020 there. We broke out above the previous cycle high, and we had a few months of energetic bull market before the top was put in, and then the price of Bitcoin began to fall. Well, as things are at the moment, as things stand, we've seen another bullish breakout, and we are in a bullish phase for Bitcoin. And following previous sort of protocol, this would be expected to be the final phase of this current Bitcoin bull cycle, wherever it takes us. Okay, so that's all good. So Bitcoin's looking bullish, but then how can we spot the outperformers? Well, there's a number of ways of doing that, and this chart, for anyone that follows me on social media, you'll have seen this, is Bitcoin versus gold. So one thing you should always do, instead of pricing things in US dollars, Bitcoin in US dollars, price it in gold. Why do I say that? Well, because A, because gold is in a bull market, and B, because gold is massively outperforming the US dollar. Okay, over the last 10 years, 20 years, 50 years, 100 years, gold beats the US dollar. So why are we pricing things in the US dollar? Always also look at the price of something measured in gold, in ounces of gold. Gold is the constant for measuring the price of something. So if we want to know if something is in a strong bullish uptrend, then price it in gold. And we can again see Bitcoin versus gold has been moving up very strongly, of course, since the inception of Bitcoin. There is a reduction taking place in that those movements, and at each cycle, Bitcoin moves up by a smaller amount versus gold and for a smaller time period. But nevertheless, we are currently breaking out versus gold again above the previous cycle high. So this is Bitcoin's chance to put in a period of outperformance versus gold. So we've established that Bitcoin is in a bullish phase. Now, if you're looking at another cryptocurrency to potentially invest in other than Bitcoin, the thing to do is to look at the chart of that cryptocurrency, of course, and this is Stellar Lumens as an example. Has quite a decent market cap and has some nice upside moves, of course. It's got a history of doing that. And breaking out above horizontal resistance lines is always more significant and more telling than breaking out above declining resistance lines. As you can see here, we broke out above a number of declining resistance lines, but overall, Stellar Lumens just ended up going sideways until it finally broke out here and broke out above the horizontal line. Okay, so say we're interested in Stellar Lumens. Okay, the next thing to do is to price it in Bitcoin, because we know Bitcoin's in a bull market. So anything else that we are buying or investing in the crypto market should be beating Bitcoin. Why would we buy something that's not beating Bitcoin? So Stellar Lumens versus Bitcoin, and you can see the breakout, you can see the uptrend, and this is a healthy looking chart. It's had a pullback, it's a healthy looking chart, and it's exhibiting all the things that you'd want to see for Stellar Lumens versus Bitcoin, that ratio. If you're wanting to invest in something that has a good probability of outperforming Bitcoin, then that ratio chart tells you that that is likely to be the case. You can also price cryptocurrencies and anything else, any other stocks, versus their ETF. So if you're thinking of buying a gold or silver miner, do the ratio chart of that gold or silver miner versus GDX or versus SIL, which or any of the other ETFs, HUI or SILJ, GDXJ. Do a ratio chart of that stock versus one of those ETFs to see if it's beating the ETF, to see if it's outperforming the rest of the sector. And the same goes for cryptos here. I've got XLM versus BITQ, which is a Bitwise Crypto Innovators ETF. It's one of the ETFs in the sector that contains the crypto innovators. So if your cryptocurrency that you're thinking of investing in is outperforming the ETFs of the sector, then you also know that you are picking one of those outperformers. So it's a process that we go through there to identify those outperformers. And that, Pat, is my tip for the day.
So step one, make sure your instrument's an uptrend. Step two, compare it to another instrument and make sure you're an uptrend versus that instrument. And then we got added evidence, right, that we have a better chance of a successful trade. Thank you very much, Kevin. That was enlightening. Make sure, guys, to like and subscribe to get more of this great content.